All right, again, I apologize. The wind is booming today, so hopefully my little mic setup will help out with that one. So, as I was saying, I want to get this attached in here, sort of as a lip, to prevent items in there from easily rolling out and hitting the door whenever I put a door on there. So, I figured I tried to glue it on there and leave it as such, but it kept popping off. So what I'm going to do is, I got this scrap piece of wood I had. We're going to put this up under here. Just mark it real quick. Bam. And we'll cut it. Screw it on there. Once it's laying up in there, I'll drill some holes in here. Countersunk, and screw it into this. And that should hold it nice and tight. And additionally, give me another face to attach or to screw into when I attach this faceplate on to the cabinet, which we'll see later on. All right, stand by 1 second. All right, back at the old trusty saw here. We'll just cut this real quick. All right, we'll go back over here to the cabinet. Get you guys moved up, set up right. All right. So now the idea is that this will fit up under here like that. And then I will screw this in and countersink it, screw it in, and that'll keep that nice and tight on there. So right now I got to get some clamps and such. Let me go do that. All right, so just marking out where I want to drill these holes. Something like that. Something like that. In life, you never have enough clamps. It's one thing I've learned. I used to work at Delta Airlines in what we used to call heavy maintenance visits. That's where I first bought these clamps. That was almost 30 years ago now. And these vice grip clamps are the shit. These spring clamps are good enough though also. And I just recently purchased a whole bunch of these. But that experience when I was at Delta, that really taught me that you never have enough clamps, man. So anyway, we're going to drill some holes, and we're going to countersink the holes, and then we're going to throw some wood screws in there. Let me just see if I can get you guys in tighter, maybe you can see what I'm doing. There. Just grab the old Makita. I'm going to start on this one here. It's just really a guide hole. You don't need to go all the way through. This is just so that the wood doesn't crack, hopefully, when we're putting the screws in it. Move you guys over just a little bit so you can see. So when I worked at Delta Airlines, heavy maintenance is what we call the process of disassembling the plane, trying to figure out anything that was wrong with it, and then we put it all back together again. So the plane would come in, an airliner would come in to the hangar. We would take everything out of the inside. That was primarily my job, inside. Take everything out of the inside, check the floors and the doors, and any corrosion that we found, we had to cut out of the plane, cut out of the metal, fix any of the beams. That were corroded beyond limits. So think of this plane. Planes came into the hangar once every 4 or 5 years for a heavy maintenance visit. And we would take them apart, and everything out of the inside, like I said, you'd take the engines off, take the landing gear off, inspect all the wires, all the pneumatics, and obviously change anything you found that was messed up. We would inspect the skin on the plane even, and a lot of the planes, being that they were older, they had to have you had to remove portions of the skin, sometimes the whole skin, on the outside of the plane, and the sheet metal guys would go to town on it. Put a whole new skin on. See, there you go. I just broke that. Let me see if I can save it. Make that countersink a little deeper. See if I can't. I'm gonna leave it like that. These are the things that happen. I am putting all my interior together pretty much with scrap wood that I get. I mean, I did have to buy some of this stuff, but for the most part, I've been using just scrap wood for the body of the cabinets, and then I buy that plywood for the skins and for the walls of the interior and such. But I've been pretty good about not having to buy too much stuff, so I'm gonna leave that little thing like that, the way it cracked a little bit on the end. That'll be okay for me. So next we're going to try to put this plate, this face plate on. I think it goes like that. This is my next problem, is going to be trying to figure out exactly how I meant it to fit. But I think I might have to throw it in the bus to make sure I got it correctly. Anyway, this is the process for me. I take it apart, or excuse me, I take it out of the bus, I put it back in the bus, take it out of the bus, put it back in the bus, measure, take it out of the bus, cut, put it back in the bus, measure. So it's a process. All right, I'll be right back. That's how it's gonna lay. So that's how this thing is gonna sit when it's all in there attached. I'm having some trouble because I have to mark it while it's in there, and I got nothing to mark against. So anyway, what's gonna happen is there's gonna be probably 2 screws here through the side into the cabinet, probably 1, 2, 3 here, another 2 on this side to hold that cabinet up there. and I think that'll do it. Maybe I can put another piece up top here. Scrap wood. So I can put a screw or two across this top part. I don't know, what do you think? Think that's going to be good enough? I think it's going to be pretty cool. We'll just have to see how it turns out. My worry is that it's not going to be strong enough. There are some strips of wood connected to the side piece that this will attach to. So that will hold this thing up, which in turn will hold the cabinet up there in a perfect world. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And then of course there's a little piece of, sits back a little further. There's a piece of rubber trim that sits here, which will actually, it's pretty stiff, so that'll hold that up there too. That'll help hold the cabinet up there. So I'm going to try to make sure I got this all where I want it and mark it as best I can with a pencil. I can't really figure out how else to do it. And then we're just going to start going for it with some screws, and hopefully that works fine. So let's see what happens. All right, stand by. So I added this top piece out of some more scrap. Give me something else to attach this thing to, but in doing that I created another problem because I can't tell where my marks are now for attaching this faceplate. So what I'm going to try and do, I got out the nail gun. What I'm going to try and do is try to figure out as best I can by kind of bending it where it meets up on the bottom here, and then I'm just going to put a nail into it, try to hold it in place so that I can do the rest of the drilling and such. I don't know. Try that. We'll just have to, hopefully we got it in the right spot. This is pretty much goes along with everything else, the way I put this bus together. It's kind of like, just go it and pray. Go for it and pray. So let's see where we're at. We've got a couple nails holding it up. That looks good. That looks pretty good, I think, as far as I can tell. Yeah, that's pretty well lined up on the top. Okay, so, pardon me guys, put that down. Let's get ready to drill a hole. And you know, I mean, if you guys remember, the reason I'm doing this is because I wanted to get all original interiors for this bus, but I mean, everything is just so overpriced now that well, I can probably afford to do it. I mean, why should I? If I can, if I have the skills to build my own, I don't want to make it sound like I'm conceited or anything. I don't have, you know, carpentry skills, so to speak. Everything I've done, I just kind of learned from working on my house. So, you know, it's nothing real fancy. I'm just realizing I should have tried to mark those so they're at the same depth, which I didn't do. And also, I'm not going to use those countersunk screws that I thought I was going to use. I'm going to use some self-tappers. Let me go grab those real quick. I got these self-tapping screws, which are a little nicer. It's stainless steel type things. You may as well use those. So kind of drilling the holes was useless, but whatever. Still going to drill a little guide hole, even though these are self-tapping. Little screws like that with a nice little finishing washer, a button head. That's what's going to go on there. Get a different screw, different drill bit. Small drill bit. So these are self-tappers. Do I need to drill the hole? Probably not. But I'm going to drill it anyway. Look at that wind. Just bending this thing is going to break it. I'm going to drill a hole anyway. Let's see what happens when I try to sink one of these self-tappers in here. Let me zoom you guys in. All right, let's see what happens. Well, the worst that can happen is it splits everything and looks like crap. That looks pretty good. All right, let's try another one. That's the idea. Put a hole in the middle. Kind of in the same line as those guys, sort of. I think that's going to look good. There's going to be a lot of screws, but you know, I don't want this thing to fall out while I'm driving or anything. So let's do the side. Now you see why I added all those pieces of wood around the lip here. So I would have something to screw into when I'm trying to attach this faceplate. And I'm just going for it here. I'm not laying any lines down and measuring or anything, so I'm just trying to be brave. Sometimes it's the hardest thing to do when you kind of create your own interior here. Let's put one at the top-ish. Around there. What do you think? Go for it. That one's gone. Let's get another one. It's looking pretty good. Let's go to the top. Another 3 across the top. Put the center one in first. Somewhere over here. What do you think? It's kind of lined up. Do it. This whole experience with this interior has been kind of eye-opening. You know, I'm just going off of some sketches I made in my little notebook I carry around, and some stuff I saw online for the cabinet layout. You know, basically made my own layout. And I don't know if people are being kind, but they're saying that it looks nice, so I'm just gonna keep going, you know. I just got kind of tired of running around without an interior, so you know, you do what you can, you do your best. Let me move this over a little bit so we can see it a little better. All right, we'll put 2 more over here. Kind of like on the other side-ish. Something like that. That didn't feel too good, but let's see what happens when I put the screw in it. My point is, with the interior speech I just gave, is that, you know, anybody can do this. I am no carpenter, and you know, a lot of my edges aren't straight and they're not super duper finished and all that stuff, but I think it's gonna look good. So I mean, don't hold back, just go for it when you're building your Volkswagen. You know, it's I think it's a time-honored tradition with Volkswagens. People who own Volkswagens, they kind of just do what they got to do to get shit done. There you go. That is attached. I don't know, I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna call that good. So next step is to slap this baby back into the Volkswagen, which is going to be a little bit harder now. Not as much wiggle room because I got the plate on the front. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll get right back with you. All right, so this is the struggle trying to get this thing in here with the faceplate attached. It's already messing up my bottom part, but this is a one-way street now, because once it's in there, you can't take it back out. Very close on that side. This side, still. Okay. That's the sticky part. I think I got it past the sticky part. All right, so it's not going back far enough, but I'm not sure it's worth taking back out to mess with. I just don't know. This is perplexing to me. This thing, well, I know what's going on. This part here needs to sit back in like a 1/4 of an inch so I can put in this trim that goes around there, and it's not doing that. And the reason it's not doing that is because when I mounted this, when I attached the faceplate to the cabinet, it must be a little too low on the cabinet. And so the cabinet doesn't want to sit right in the thing up there. Anyway, I don't know, because if we take it back out, it's probably going to fall apart. It fits in there real tight, as you just saw. So probably just gonna have to leave it like that. What I'm gonna try to do is I will put the screws in. I was just thinking about this also. I wanted to put a piece of trim on these ends to finish this off. So I got to think about the screws there to hold that in. Shucks. Maybe I can put a countersunk screw, 2 countersunk screws on the other side, and then we'll put the trim on top of it, and that trim will just be held in with these same self-tapping screws. This is really confusing me. Okay, stand by. I don't know what you guys think, but I mean, it looks pretty decent. So stand by, and I'll see if I can't figure something out. Okay, so that thing is in there. I don't want to try to take it back out, because if I take it back out, I think it's going to break. That's how tight it is in there. So I'm going to leave it like that for now. I just realized another thing, which is I have solar panels coming in 2 days. And I got to figure out a way to get the solar panel power down into the cab. And effectively, by putting this cabinet up here, I've eliminated 50% of my options. So now I have to put a hole in the back portion of this bus, in the roof on the back portion, to run the cabling down for the solar panel. So it's going to have to be back here, because I don't want to take that cabinet back out, because that's how tight it is. Because of how tight it is. So I've screwed myself there, and that this is my only option now. But it should work. And solar panel is going to be just powering my fans, my lights, which I haven't installed them all on yet. This fan is, right now it's powered by a battery that I have in there. So there's that fan. There's going to be that fan. There's going to be my lights. There's going to be lights along here. And the solar panel will also power my charging stations, which I have all around the bus. And then eventually it will power the speaker box, which right now is being powered by outlets connected to my jump box. So by putting that in now, I effectively screwed myself for the solar panel install. Well, hopefully that'll look good. I won't have to regret putting that in, or even have to pull it back out, because that would really not be good, because that thing was a bitch to put in. Let's get out here for a second. But before I do commit to installing the little finishing strips that I want to put up along here on both sides, I'm gonna wait, because if it turns out that I do have to take that out for this solar panel kit, I don't want to have that in my way as well. So that's going to be it. that's gonna be it for now, guys. Thanks for watching as usual. I try to keep these things as short as possible because I know how I am with YouTube. Next, we will probably be talking about the solar kit that I have coming, or I will be attempting to put my lower headliner in, which is just going to be made out of this wood. This is going to be wood, and wood, and that's going to be the only cloth part up there. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hey, subscribe if you want to do the notification button. You all know how I feel about it. I don't like those notifications myself, so you know, I'm one of these people who completely understand if you don't push the notification button. But anyway, it was nice talking to you guys, and let me know what you think about my cabinets so far. I'll talk to you later. Peace.